Oh, good evening, folks. Just wanted to share a quick personal experience with you that I think is instructive in terms of life and politics, I guess, and just world awareness or human nature. Or anyway, I'll stop beating around the bush, and after I tell you the story, then maybe you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Now, I think it's a very interesting story, so I hope you like it. I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued by it. I keep thinking about it. Okay, so basically, I knew a guy who was living over here in the Tampa Bay area who claimed to be the king of something. I can't remember what. It's somewhere over in India, Mongolia, or North India. So I don't know what it's called up there. I want to say the king of Kashmir. Now, when I say I knew him 1 degree of separation removed, or maybe that confuses me. If you know somebody, is that 1 degree of separation, or is that 0 degrees of separation? I think it's 1 degree of separation, but something in my mind makes me want to say it's 0 degrees of separation. Anyway, oh, and you know what? There's something weird with the sound on this phone. I got an Android update, and it just messed up everything, man. I mean, the phone doesn't work right. The sound doesn't work right. So I'm going to put in this Bluetooth here. I'm going to go into what's it called? Terminator. I'm going to go into Terminator mode. Anyway, so I think the sound will be better with this Bluetooth in. We'll see. Now, I'm not sure which Bluetooth my phone is connected to, my phone or this. I don't know how to find out. Oh well, I'll just have to take a chance. Hopefully the sound will be okay. But it has like a hollow ringing sound when I don't have my Bluetooth in. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so anyway, this guy claimed to be the king of Kashmir. And I knew him, in other words, whatever the correct number of degrees of separation is. My mind makes me want to say 0 degrees of separation. That if you know somebody directly, with nobody between you. But I should say part of my mind wants to say 0. Another part of my mind says, no, that's 1 degree. So I'm not really sure. I'm going to go with 1, even though it doesn't feel right. For some reason, I think it's right. And in that case, it means, if this isn't getting too confusing, in that case, it means that I knew him 2 degrees of separation removed. In other words, I knew somebody that knew him. Now I met him, but I didn't know him, right? So I knew this guy, claimed to be the king of Kashmir. I don't get the information directly from him. I get it from, like I said, the person that knew him and knew people close to him. And there was a whole like business, romantic relationship type thing there. So it was kind of involved. In other words, what I'm trying to say is the person that I knew who knew him in more than just a passing familiarity. I mean, they knew them, at a fairly intimate level, right? Not a romantic level, but I mean, just a fairly, it was a different person he was romantically involved, but, just a different, And everybody, including me, was like, king of Kashmir? That doesn't even make sense. They don't have kings anymore, So we just assumed that it was just some kind of fish story, that it was just some kind of, somebody from another country. They come over here, they tell people whatever they want to tell them because they know that nobody here can verify one way or another whether it's true, so they just make us something that sounds really impressive. So that's what we thought, right? But the thing of it is that the person that knew him very well said some things that were like odd about him. Like this person would hear him on the phone at night saying things that only a king would say, basically. Right? I mean, just you're just gonna have to take my word for it. I know that sounds very mysterious, but I don't want to be too specific. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really want to be too specific. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it. So that was kind of weird, but at the same time, nevertheless, still, we're like, this is no way. There's no way this guy is the king of Punjab or king of Kashmir or king of something like that. I can't remember the name of the place that he was supposedly to be that he claimed to be the king of. Right. All right. So that's that. That's the end of that story. That's the end of that part of the story. Time passed. I'm not acquainted with these people anymore. Years passed by, yada, yada, yada. But it kind of stuck in my mind because, I'm a conspiracy theorist and I think about these things and I just like to think anyway. I mean, weird ideas. Sorry about my hand. Weird ideas, strange things are very attractive to me. I like the weird, the odd, the offbeat, the strange. So it stuck with me, and I just thinking about it. So I go to San Francisco, and I don't really go anywhere, but I did go to San Francisco. My brother's son was getting married, and I heard that my brother was upset that nobody was coming, so I didn't really have the money. But anyway, short story long, long story short, I went to San Francisco. I think I put it on my credit card or something, and I'm out there in San Francisco, and I'm riding in a taxi, and the taxi driver is an Indian guy, and I don't exactly know. I guess we just struck up a conversation. I didn't go out of my way to talk to him about this. We just struck up a conversation because I talk to pretty much everybody everywhere I go. Especially people from other countries. I mean, I'm most interested, excited, I guess you might say, about talking to people from other countries because I'm curious. I want to learn what life is like in other places. I should just go there, right? But anyway, so I started talking to him, and he was a really nice guy. He was a young guy. He was a lively guy. He was a curious type person, conversational, not a bored type person at all. He was lively, animated. We got along really well. So something in the conversation struck up this memory in my mind, and I said to the guy, is there such thing as a king of whatever this place is called, Punjab or Kashmir or whatever? I can't remember what it was. I keep thinking Kashmir. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I said, there's no way, right? There's no such thing as a king of Kashmir. And he goes, oh, no. He said, there's kings. I said, what? I said, how does that even work? He said, it's just like in Great Britain. He said, they have a king, but they also have a parliament. They have a king. It's like a parallel type thing. The king is kind of like a, I don't want to say like a flower. The king is like a, I don't know, like a nostalgic type thing. He doesn't have any real power, or I think what he really meant was, and maybe it's even what he said, and I just can't recall because it's been several years now. I think what he really meant was like the king shares power, whereas in the old days, the king had absolute power. It's like the Queen of England. I mean, I think the Queen of England and the King of England, for that matter, and the princess, I think they have power. It's just they share power with the parliament. They share power with a couple thousand other politicians. They're just one among thousands, but they're kind of like a special type of a politician. They have I don't know if they have more power, but they have a unique kind of power, I think. That's my interpretation of things. So that's what he told me. He said it's like in Great Britain. I was like, wow, that is fascinating. So I said, well, what the heck was this guy doing over in America if he's the king of Punjab or whatever it was? He said, oh, they come over here to go to school. I said, what? Now, for the record, this king guy was, he wasn't old, he wasn't young. He could have been, he was a big guy. He was a heavy guy. And I don't mean like muscular. He was just big. He was, I have no idea. He could have been 40. He could have been 28. It's hard to say. He could have been 45. Anyway, my understanding was that he was over here. He owned like 50 companies, all kinds of companies, construction companies. I mean, all kinds of different kind of companies, right? I don't think he went to school. That's my understanding. I said, so what the heck, what's he doing over here if he's the king? He said, oh, they come over, the taxi driver told me, he said, they come over here to go to school. I said, and I think I told him, I said, I don't think he goes to school. He doesn't look like a student. He looks, like a man, like a grown man. He says, well, he's probably coming over here to get rich, to take money back home. And I was like, this is just so weird, man. I'm like, what the heck? So I said, don't they have universities back at home, And he said, no. He said, they don't have. I said, well, why not? And he said, because they don't want the people to be smart. And I was like, what? Actually, I was more like, whoa, that's heavy, man. That's heavy. Because over here, right, the rulers, or politicians, they've become rulers. I mean, that's what happens when you give a politician $1 trillion. They become a ruler. They're not a politician anymore, right? And I don't mean like you give it to them like it's theirs. I mean like you give it to them like it's theirs to manage. You give it anybody, technically it's not theirs, but it's theirs to manage. I mean, they take $1 billion bite off of the corner somewhere. They figure that's their right, Anyway, they become rulers, right? And I'm like, wow, that is heavy, dude, because over here in the West, I mean, they are so busy dumbing people down, I mean, all the garbage that goes on at the universities and honestly in our churches, the garbage that goes on. I was over a couple years ago, I was over at Bridgepoint, and this Tim Whipple guy was up there saying that the Trinity is like the 3 states of water. And I'm like, dude, no, the Trinity is not like 3 states of water. Sorry. I mean, that's like an analogy for a 3-year-old, which would be whatever, because that's like marginally debated. I mean, marginally debatable, I guess. Not really, but let's just say it is. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt whenever possible, But then on top of that, this Tim Whipple guy, he's got like rubber gloves on up to his elbows. He's got like a chemist apron. He's got like these little protective goggles. And he's up there with water, a bowl of water and a bowl of ice and some steam. And he's like wearing all this chemistry like, what's his name from Breaking Bad? I can't remember the guy's name. Ryan Cranston, his character, Ryan Cranston. Anyway, Walter White, yeah. He's like Walter White in Breaking Bad, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is too much. It sent me over the edge. It just sent me, I'm like, this is too much. No. You don't wear protective glasses when you're handling water, I'm sorry. No. See, you treat me like a 3-year-old. You talk to me like I'm a 3-year-old. Okay, whatever. I can forgive that, I guess. Whatever. But now you're going to treat me like a 3-year-old on top of it? I don't think so. No. So, anyway, I got to publish the private messages he sent me because this guy is a disgrace. This clown is a disgrace. And this is the state of our society? These are our spiritual leaders? Oh, wow. And then I got my preacher, Dr. Glenn Money, getting up there every week telling us that white people are evil. I'm like, oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think so, you racist piece of trash. This is amazing, right? This is what goes on in my mind. It's like, this guy, point blank, doesn't know me from nobody. Doesn't know anything. Doesn't know anything about me. I just got his cab. And he's up there saying, they're not going to build any universities back home because they don't want the people to be smart. Oh, are you with me on this? Are you grasping this? This is mind-blowing. And then I come over here and they're dumbing everybody down. with supposedly, they're dumbing everybody down. They put fluoride in the water. They put fluoride in the drugs, all the pharmaceutical drugs, not all of them, but a lot of them have fluoride in them. You swallow this stuff. You look at the back of a tube of toothpaste. It says, if you swallow this toothpaste, contact poison control. Okay, I've never really looked, but that's what Alex Jones says. You look for yourself. You decide for yourself. They got fluoride in baby water. They got drinking water for babies that has fluoride in it, right? I mean, so forget about that, because everybody balks at that. Oh, the conspiracy theory. Oh, the conspiracy theory. Right? Everybody balks at that. So forget about that part. Forget about the chemical aspect. Just look at the garbage they're teaching the kids. They're teaching the 6-year-old kids to be obsessed with their private parts. Am I a boy or am I a girl? Oh, I don't know. I'm so confused. Right? And then you go to church and the preachers are like wearing goggles to protect themselves from a bowl of water. Oh, people, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is an unstatable state of affairs. This is unstatable. There are no words to describe the degree and the level of the depravity and the treachery and the treason. I'm not talking about patriot treason. I'm not talking about treason against your country. I'm talking about treason against things that are good and noble and right. Right? I mean, there are no words. There are no words. There is no facial expression. There is no tone of voice. There is no volume of voice. There is no dramatic outburst that is sufficient to capture the depth and the degree of the depravity of this treachery and this treason and this degeneracy. And I'm not talking about church lady degeneracy. I'm not talking about drinking and gambling and having occasional sordid affairs. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about deeper, more profound, more absolute, more complete, more sophisticated depravity and degeneracy. That's what I'm talking about. And anyway, I thought I was just going to be telling a story, and I got off on my usual jag about these degenerate preachers. I guess they deserve it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten off on a jag about it. Anyway, and I know it's not just Tim Whipple and Dr. Glenn Money. It's all of them. I know that. I know the Rothschilds and the whoever and the whatever and the whoever they are. They run the World Council of Churches. They buy the seminaries. They buy the publishing companies. And everybody gets processed through these seminaries with these books and this stuff that has been ideologically engineered to deliver a certain kind of a product, a certain level of, like a product, like a